is our marine animal training workshop. I'm going to be telling you and showing you a little bit about how we train our animals here at Arama. In a little bit, after I talk for a little bit, another trainer is going to come out. His name is Doug Messenger. But before he comes out, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the animal that's right in front of me. This is Hastings. He's one of the 4 males that we have here at Arama. We also have 4 females. And he's about 13 years old. Been here at Arama for about 9 years. And he's one of the stars of our dolphin shows. Now, Hastings, along with the rest of our dolphins, is an Atlantic bottlenose dolphin. The same kind of dolphin that you see off the Texas coast. His scientific name is Tursiops truncatus, and like I said, this is the same kind of dolphin you see in the Gulf of Mexico. The ones you see on the wild, though, might be a little bit darker than the ones that we have, because we have shade covering our fins in the back where our dolphins stay, and the ones out in the wild are a little bit darker from what you might want to call a suntan. So they're the same kind of animals, they're just a little bit lighter. Now, our dolphins, plus our sea lion, and the Pacific black whale that we have in the back here, are all protected in the wild by what's known as the Marine Animal Protection Act of 1972. Now, this Protection Act says that nobody can kill, harm, or even come close to any of these animals in the wild, anywhere around the United States. Now, this does say, though, that a facility like ours can have these animals and keep them so that we can educate the public. This gives us a real good chance to show you what beautiful and graceful these animals really are. Now, there's a couple of important things we need to do once we get these animals. One of those things is to gain the animal's trust, and this is real important. Now, the way we do this is just by spending a lot of time with the animal. We feed him and play with him, basically spend as much time as we can with him. Now, the second thing we do is a little bit of training. It's actually when our training begins. Right now, Doug Messenger is going to be coming out, working with the animal while I tell you a little bit about it. Now, the second thing that we do that's real important is called whistle conditioning. And this is very important because it's the beginning of our training. What we want the animal to understand is that every time we blow these whistles that we have, he knows that he's going to receive some kind of reward, or what we call positive reinforcement. Now, there's a lot of different things that we can use for positive reinforcement. Fish, obviously, is going to be very positive for our animals. But there's some other things, like toys. A lot of our animals enjoy playing with toys. And so we could use toys as positive reinforcement. You see Hastings playing with football right there. Also petting. A lot of our animals enjoy being petted. So we could use that as positive reinforcement. And you'll see Doug using all 3 of those things throughout this training session as positive reinforcement. Now, back to whistle conditioning. The way we do this is with a bucket of, let's say, fish for positive reinforcement and our whistle. We come out, blow the whistle, give them a fish, blow the whistle, give them a fish, blow the whistle, give them a fish. We do that over and over and over again until he understands every single time he hears that whistle, he's going to receive some kind of reward or positive reinforcement. And once he understands this, we can go on to what we call training. And we have a couple different types of training here. Through operant conditioning, we have targeting, and we use also scanning. And scanning is the first one I'm going to explain to you right now. It's real easy and it's a lot of fun. Basically what we do is we just watch the animals play. Now, when dolphins play, they're very active. They like to do all sorts of spins and flips and jumps. They like to slap their tail and do all sorts of different things. And what you do is you just sit here and watch the dolphins play. And when you see them do something that you like, or that you would like to see in a show, you blow your whistle. Now remember, this is already after the dolphin understands what the whistle means. So he's going to come over to where you are to get some kind of reward. Now, chances are the first time you do this, he's not going to understand what it was he did to get that reward. But since he did it in play, there's a good chance he's going to do it again. Unfortunately, it might be tomorrow, it might be next year. But you just keep watching, and eventually he's going to do that again. And when he does, you blow his whistle again, he's going to come over and get some more positive reinforcement. Now, eventually, he's going to understand, hey, every time I do this little spin or flip or whatever it was, I get some kind of positive reinforcement or reward. So he's going to start doing it over and over and over again, every time he sees you. Well, this is the time that you add what's called a hand signal. Hand signal is very self-explanatory. You just do some kind of motion with your hand, anything that you want. You just have to make sure that every time you want that specific behavior, you do that certain hand motion. It has to be very consistent. But from now on, you're only going to give that positive reinforcement after you've given that certain hand signal. And now once he understands this, you can go on and train a whole bunch of different scanning behaviors. We're going to show you a couple of examples of those scan behaviors. The first one is vocalization. Hastings is going to vocalize and make a few sounds for you. It's pretty quiet, but you heard it. And that's an example of a scan behavior. Now another one is called bobtail. This is also something that we caught Hastings doing one time. And we gave it this hand signal right here. This is something they do naturally in the wild. We think it's some kind of social behavior, or maybe it could be just simply to get parasites off their tail. Anyway, we saw Hastings doing that one time and we caught it, and that's one of our scanned behaviors. And that's now another scanned behavior that we have, a little bit more spectacular, and they're called bows. Also something you see them doing in the wild. And notice he's going to keep doing this until he hears that whistle. And then he's going to stop and come over and get his positive reinforcement. A good job. And those are some examples of some scanned behaviors. And now I'm going to explain targeting to you. Targeting is real simple also. It's where we want the animal to touch some part of his body to another object. Sounds pretty easy. We could use our fist, we could use a ball, we could use anything we want to train a behavior. And the way we do this, if we were going to use our fist, we would come out and touch him on the rostrum or the nose, blow our whistle, give him some fish maybe for positive reinforcement. Touch him again, blow that whistle, and we just keep doing this over and over again until he understands that we want his rostrum to meet our fist. And then one day we're going to come out and we're not going to touch him though. We're going to have our fist above him and see what he does. Now he's a very smart animal. He's going to do anything he can to make us blow that whistle so he can get his reward. So he's going to come up and touch us. Now this is very important because Hastings has just learned that he's supposed to initiate the behavior. He's supposed to start it. And this is very important at the beginning of a lot of different behaviors. For example, if Doug were to move his hand up and down and Hastings were to follow his hand, it would look like he was saying yes. Or if Doug were to move his hand from side to side and Hastings were to follow his hand, it would look like he was saying no. And now another example of a simple targeting behavior is a peck shake. We want the animal to come up out of the water to give us a nice peck shake. The way we train this is we reach our hand underneath the water to touch his front pectoral fin, blow the whistle, give him some positive reinforcement, do it again, but this time maybe a little bit higher. And from now on, we're going to do that every time, a little bit higher, a little bit higher, a little bit higher, until we have our hand above the water, and he's coming up out of the water to touch our hand. Just like that. It looks like Hastings is giving us a nice flipper shake hello. But really, Hastings is thinking, touch, spin the hand, get fish. He's playing the targeting game. Well, we're going to show you an example of a more complex targeting behavior, and that's the buoy touch. You notice these buoys above our pool right here? And the way we train that is we would use a ball instead of our fist. We would touch him with that ball a couple times, and then we could attach that ball to a stick, and therefore we can have more maneuverability. We can have that ball in the middle of the pool, have him touch the ball, and from now on, day by day, we're going to raise that ball in small increments, little by little, until he's jumping about 15 feet out of the air to touch the buoy, like he's going to do right now. And there you have an example of a real neat, complex targeting behavior. And those are all fun show behaviors that we have. But we also do some other behaviors here at the Arama that are besides show behaviors. And these are called veterinary procedures. Sorry kids, you're not going to get wet. These are called veterinary procedures, and these are behaviors that we want the animal to do to make it easy for the vet when they come out. And one of these behaviors is called beaching. We want the animal to beach on that front platform in front of you. There he is. Now the reason we do this is so we can come right up next to him and get a good close look at his body, make sure everything's okay, and inspect him real closely. This is a very important veterinary procedure. Hastings is waiting up there to hear that whistle, and when he does, he'll scoot back in the water and come over and get his positive reinforcement. And that's a veterinary procedure. Another veterinary procedure we're going to show you is called mouth open. It's simply where we want the animal just to keep his mouth open so we can inspect his tongue, his teeth, his throat, make sure everything's okay. And that's a real simple one. And now the last one we're going to show you is called tail present. This is where we want the animal to lay out on his side and give us his tail. But we do this so that we can take blood. Now we take blood from all of our animals on a regular basis to make sure that everything's okay, because this is the best way to make sure that everything is okay. And now the reason that we do this from the tail is because the veins are very close to the surface of the skin. There's not a lot of blubber there on the tail. Now Hastings is doing this all on a voluntary basis. He's a very strong animal, and so if he wanted to get away from Doug, he could just flick his tail and get away very easily. And so he's doing this all voluntarily, which is very important. Because if he didn't do that, we might have to take him out of the water to get that blood, and that would be very stressful for him and for us. So that shows you how important these veterinary procedures are. Now we're going to do some fun behaviors. One of those is called propeller. This is an example of a targeted and a scan behavior combined. The targeted part comes when Hastings touches his rostrum to the propeller. The scan part comes when he makes those sounds that you heard before. And when you put them together, you have a behavior that looks like this. Very nice. That's an example of a scan and a targeted behavior. And now Hastings is going to do another targeted behavior for you. This is a forward tail walk. This is something he just learned. He's doing real good at it. Now, that's real difficult for them to do. It may look easy, but out in the wild you may see them doing a backward tail walk, which is real simple. But if they want to do a forward tail walk, they actually have to retrain their muscles. So it's real hard for them, and it shows you how strong these animals are. Now Hastings and Doug are going to do a fun behavior, one that they both enjoy, one that they've been working on for quite a while. It's called simply football, and I'm just going to let it be a surprise. Good job. That's one of his favorite behaviors. Hastings too. Now we're also going to do another fishing behavior for you, so we can tell you a little bit more about Hastings. He's about a 450-pound animal, maybe 500 pounds. He's about 8 feet long. And now these animals get to be about 10 feet, maybe 1,000 pounds. And we feed about 3 different kinds of fish here. We feed a smelt, which is a small one, a herring, which is a little bit bigger, and a mackerel, which is even larger. And we also give, besides these 3 different fish, we also give vitamins, supplements every day. And Hastings is eating between 20 and 25 pounds of fish each day. Now he's waiting up there very patiently for that whistle. There it is. And he comes back over to receive that positive reinforcement. Now we're going to have him do a couple more bows for you, because this is something they seem to enjoy doing, so we let him do it quite a bit. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3. There's the whistle. Now he's going to roll over and say goodbye the only way he knows how. Wave his tail and goodbye. Well, this is going to do it for our marine animal training workshop. Hastings is at a real good training session, and we like to keep our training sessions very short because that keeps them very positive. Dolphins have kind of a short attention span, so by keeping them short, keeps them very positive, and they want to come out and they want to learn. And this is, like I said, going to do it for our marine animal training workshop.